Hi everyone, Scorp here. Today I'm going over a deck this is probably what I'd build for if somebody told me to build an Immortal deck, which somebody asked me to build an Immortal deck. So, here's my Immortal deck that is about 50-50 Immortals and other random stuff. So, I am not the biggest fan of Immortals because they tend to end up being really high deck costs, like Moisture Creature here. This thing is only a 2800 attack creature, and it's 70 deck cost, which is way too high. But it's my deck leader. There's a lot of really good choices for deck leader in Immortals, thanks to the Redux mod. I really like level cost reduction, and direct damage halved isn't bad. We can go down over here into the 680s and see some of the others. Terrain change and movement boost is also extremely good. If you want to be pretty aggressive, you could use that. Terrain change and open card is pretty nice for, just playing kind of defensive, although it's pretty nice just overall. Terrain change is pretty good. Yeah. Like, these aren't bad, they're just not... I don't know, it's just what I chose. I definitely could I could see putting Rigor Sleever as the leader for this deck, if you want terrain change. This deck isn't very expensive in terms of summoning power, so you don't really need the level cost reduction. Start out, we have 3 Magicians of Faith. We have a bunch of really good spell cards in this deck that we like to recycle. It also lets us do some really, really nasty things to our opponents with resetting darkness approaches and stuff like that. So if your opponent wants to play a control deck against this deck, they're going to have a really bad day. This is probably, like, the ultimate just... You are not playing a control deck against this because you will lose the game horrifically if you try to play a control deck against this type of deck. 3 green Kappas, 3 eye armors. All of these work great on Crush Drain. You can play them face down on Crush Drain, and then they can move through the Crush Drain to your opponent, and then they can come off the Crush Drain and flip face up and become 5000 attack beat 6. Absolutely great in a Crush deck, so that's why I put them in with Immortals. They're also really awesome cards, but I mean, like, they work great with Crush, so might as well. Dark Plants, this just has the Crush card effect on it, and it's not an Immortal, and it's 1 star, so I like to just have these. Throw it in defense and let it die. Great for making more Crush Drain. And opponents hate more Crush Drain, so why not? Ancient Tree of Enlightenment. I don't have many traps in here. There are definitely opportunities to put traps in this deck, but I didn't really see much of a need to put traps in this deck for all of the testing I did. I had some bear traps in there just because bear traps work great on Crush Drain, because everything but Immortals has to be 1500 or less to go in Crush Drain. So a trap that says destroys everything 2000 or less is great, but I really just wanted to get rid of traps more. The traps were really slow, and this deck's already pretty slow, so I didn't really want them. There's some traps that you could definitely include, so we can go over those later when we get to the cards that I'd remove for them. Next up, 3 copies of Giles' Dark Demise. This card, it has a wall of text. It's a change of heart, and its effect can be reset with the darkness approaches. This thing is bonkers. Just put 3 of these in your deck. If you're playing an Immortal deck, you better have 3 of these. 3 Soul Eaters. This is your endgame beat stick. If the game goes on long enough that Soul Eater is really good, Soul Eater is really, really good. Otherwise, it's just a 1200 attack creature that gets a bunch of Slate Warrior buffs. So it's not terrible. It's also 4 stars, so with the level cost reduction, it's 3 stars. Super nice. Cheap enough card to put in the deck. Next up, 3 Slate Warriors. We all knew this was coming. It increases all of your other monsters by 500 points. Pretty good. Rigorous Lever. This thing is 2 stars. Great. 1600 attack. Awesome. And it has an effect that is an alternate win condition for this deck. If your opponent just doesn't... if your opponent doesn't rush you, like, you can just reset this effect repeatedly and destroy their hand until they run out of cards in their deck. And you just never draw cards. And the AI just keeps drawing cards every turn and then loses the game. Yeah, it's quite a nasty, nasty thing to do to an opponent. Also, I mean, this is just another good Immortal. Soul Pure. Healing always comes in handy, especially in a deck where you can reset the spell cards that you're using. So definitely one of those. I have a Dark Christian Light here. It could be a Swords, it could be a Dark Hole. Really, it depends on deck cost that you're wanting to hit. This is a really expensive deck, so yeah. Also, I know that I have a scratchy throat and a cough. It's because there's Wildfire Smoke is really bad here right now, so finally figured that one out. So yeah, Dark Christian Light. It's just a good card. 3 Darkness Approaches. I realized in testing this deck pretty quickly that I might as well just put in 3 Darkness Approaches because, like, everything's a flip effect in this deck. And it's absolutely an incredible card for that. This deck is going to be pretty weak to just getting rushed down because you can kind of just get killed in 3 turns in this game, but if you can somehow find a way to get yourself onto enough crush terrain to avoid the really aggressive decks, I think you'll have some success with this. Next up, 3 Megamorphs. All of your stuff is different element or different attributes, so it's really hard to buff Immortals. So Megamorphs are great for that. Continuing that theme, Riryoku's. This is the first card that I would cut, especially since I'd probably ban it in any tournament that you'd ever set up with this game. This thing's also super expensive, so that's why the next 3 cards are Curse Breakers to deal with the deck cost being so high. But Riryoku's just absolutely broken, so might as well just throw it in your deck. Curse Breaker, it's just a useful card to mess with your opponent. Your opponent throws a green cap at you, they flip it, you Curse Breaker it, and then you just beat over it with your own. That's an amusing way to make your opponent lose. And then Goblin Fan because it shuts down burn decks. And I don't really want to deal with burn decks. It also does nasty things to Riryoku's, so yeah. Goblin Fan for those opponents that you don't like that use Riryoku's in this game, because there are a couple of them. So that's the deck. Let's go ahead and go against basically the game's final boss, the one that uses Crush, the Immortals. This is going to be some disrespect. Oh, that's going to hurt him. We're going to hurt a lot. This is now my Slate Warrior. And if he didn't have his direct damage halved, he'd be dead already. And he's dead. So I effectively just killed him with one card. Jowls of Dark Demise, pretty good. Moving on from that, we'll go and duel Yugi. I have a feeling we're gonna go for some pretty dirty things to do to Yugi here. Does this nice thing where he doesn't attack you very quickly. Dark Piercing Light's pretty good, but I might as well just throw it in the graveyard. I'm just gonna put this in defense. For some reason, I have a feeling he has an Air Force out. We don't need Goblin Fan in this matchup, so just get rid of that. Oh, we drew one of the Darkness Approaches. Now we just need to draw a Rigorous Lever. I didn't want to draw all of these. Nor did I need to. Since I already have a Magician of Faith, I can copy them. So, just going to... Nom nom. I'm gonna put my stuff in defense. First things first, let's go attacking. Oh, hey! We got rid of one of his Mirror Forces. That's probably a Mirror Force. Ooh. I didn't really need to draw, but I did anyways. He's probably going to beat over that Dark Magician girl. And because I have 5 monsters, my Jowls of Dark Demise is not going to respawn. Not the biggest loss. We're gonna have one of these duels, huh? Oh. That creature I stole didn't count against my number of creatures on board. And his AI broke. That's a lot of cards to flip. So, this card here is Magician of Faith. Well, if he's not going to do anything... I guess I just win the duel. I don't know what broke his AI, but his AI just broke. This is a really convenient way to get a whole bunch of cards in the slots. If you ever need to go fishing for cards. Let's see... let's go for Kaiba, I think. I haven't really played too much of the Crush stuff yet. Haven't really been needing to. I'm just kind of winning with the effects of cards. Well, that's a lot of life points. So, Kaiba's gonna probably... Oh! Oh my, that's a Save-Ryu. It's at 4,000? I'll just throw this in defense. There's no point in flipping Rigorous Reaver right now because my opponent had basically dumped his entire hand. Goodbye, Mirror Force. Ooh. It's annoying that it puts it at the front of your deck leader first, but it's okay. There, that's better. Huh. Sir, you have to play something. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Well, we'll just keep going with the infinite flip effects. Hey, Magician of Faith is not something you go attack. Oh, I did that wrong. Oh well. Oh! My opponent just played a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. And it doesn't matter, because he's dead. Sir just played a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon to try to kill that Magician of Faith. Wild. Just wild, guys. Let's see, who else should I play against? EAA is not really, playing, you know, into what I'm playing, but I mean, they're not doing well against it at all. Well, this is gonna be a lot of damage. Well, this game's absolutely over already. This isn't gonna go very many turns. I didn't really want to drag that out of the graveyard, but... that's okay. I guess I should have probably just played the Darkness Approaches first, and then revived it with Magician of Faith. But what I'd hoped for was to actually play Dark Plant here. So I can just continue making these 4,000 some attack beat sticks. Oh, I'm sorry, Fiend Sword, you cannot survive on this terrain. Goodbye. Order. Oh well. Also, you can get yourself infinite Ruryokus this way, which I'm sure that's a completely fair and balanced and intended interaction in this game. Not that you ever need infinite Ruryokus, but if for some reason you ever needed them. Yeah, this was, that was not much of a duel. I mean, everything that you can do with Immortals, just like in the late game, is absolutely disgusting. But overall, this is the deck that I would put together for Immortals. If you told me to bring an Immortal deck to a tournament, it would be something kind of like this, where you kind of use the Immortal, the Crush terrain to stall against the really aggressive stuff, and then you basically just play absolutely disgusting late game things where you have the absolute ability in this deck to go infinite. If you're gonna replace cards and you needed replacements for Ryokus, these can be Mimikats. And if you make them Mimikats, you can literally infinitely recycle any monster in the game. You could also put in a Tremendous Fire or a Just Desserts, and then launch an infinite amount of burn damage at your opponent. And you can also put in Dark Holes and White Holes and do that kind of stuff to infinitely destroy your opponent's cards that they do play, while you destroy every card in their hand and deck with Rigorous Reaver infinitely being played. Your late game potential with a deck like this is absolutely insane. There's no limit to it. You also go infinite with Slate Warriors. Jowls of Dark Demise can also infinitely take over opponent cards. You could also play Swords of Revealing Light for infinite turns of stunning, because you can just repeatedly recycle swords. So just think of all of the possibilities, and most of that's just because Magician of Faith's broken, not because and Darkness Approaches is broken, but it all fits well in this Immortal shell that has a ton of really good flip effects. Otherwise, your other option for playing Immortals is really, you're just going to be playing really big beat sticks that do well on Crush Train, but it's hard to generate the Crush Train in the first place. So you'd need to play most of these weak things anyways, and why would we bother playing the super expensive things that are hard to summon, because 8 summoning cost is really annoying to get to. Although this deck never has issues with summoning power, ever, so that's really nice. I really like to build my decks that way. So this is just what I'd put together. If you were going for a higher deck cost, get rid of the Curse Breakers. If you're not allowed to use Ryokus, put in better spells. You know, there's a bunch of stuff you can do. So thanks everybody for watching, and have a nice day.